sitcoms in the 90s, and the Halloween episodes that they had were just so freaking epic, dude. I loved it. And I wanted to talk about my top 5 Halloween 90s sitcoms episodes. And so number 5, tell me if you remember these. Number 5 is the Roseanne Boo episode. It starts off in they're in the kitchen or something, and they're telling a spooky story to the kids. And they talk about this woman that was crazy. She went to the asylum, and then and they're playing. It's so funny because my wife and I will do this with our kids. They'll play off each other, because you remember Jackie, the sister, lived with them, and then Dan and Roseanne were the parents, and then they had 4 or 5 kids running around, right? And so there's the 2 older girls. They don't believe in Halloween, and they don't care about Halloween anymore. There's nothing to believe in. They don't want to go trick or treating.
Yeah.
And they're in the kitchen and they're telling them this story, and Jackie starts it off like, "You remember that crazy?" And then Roseanne's like, and she kind of winks at her. She's like, "Oh yeah, I do remember that crazy lady." And then so they get to the point, and then Dan comes in and he's super into Halloween, and he's like, "Yeah, that's crazy." And then he just darts his head over. He's like, "There's somebody behind the garage." And they're like, "No way." And so they rush to the door, and then the parents are all behind them, and they just spook them and scare them. And so that was a really funny beginning to that episode. But the screenshot I have up here, this is the iconic, the DJ, I think is the little kid's name. He opens the door and invites the people in, and they have the haunted house inside of their house. And so this is the same episode, and Dan just spins around in that chair, and he's got that axe in his head. And to me, that is just so ingrained.
For sure. I just want to say, I love that the notes say, "Crazy lady, get out," or the Asian asylum.
I don't know what I was typing, man.
The Asian asylum.
Sane asylum? I don't know.
I assume that's what you're going with, but an Asian asylum sounds like it'd be pretty entertaining.
It would be interesting, yeah. So anyway, this one was iconic because this one, I remember watching it when it came on, and it was just like, dude, this is awesome. Like, this is so cool. And there was so many other Roseanne episodes that during Halloween, they always did a really cool one. So that's number 5 on my list. Number 4, 90s sitcoms Halloween episodes was Pete and Pete.
I don't remember.
Did you ever watch Pete and Pete?
I saw a little bit, but not a lot.
So this Pete and Pete episode is called Halloweeny. And Pete and Pete were brothers, which is weird. Big brother, little brother. Little brother Pete had that tattoo on his arm.
Petunia, was it something like that?
And so he's super into Halloween. The little brother is. Big brother is getting older and isn't really into Halloween anymore, which that always seemed to happen. Like once you got 15, 16 years old, it was just like, Halloween. My 16-year-old is loving Halloween. He's like he doesn't even care. He's like,
but is he still like dressing up and stuff?
Oh, yeah, dude.
I was literally just having this conversation. It's like, when are these kids going to stop caring? Because I feel like they're kind of to the point now. They're like, I don't really care about it, but I like candy. So
it's not about candy for him. It's about dressing up with him and his friends. Like they want to do something as a group. Like him and his girlfriend want to dress up and be like a thing. You know
I can see that. That's probably more of the appeal. So maybe that's what kind of drags it out a little bit longer.
It turns from being a little kid thing into like how do we do this as a group with our friend group kind of thing. But Halloweeny was there was the terrorizers in the town, and it's going to be the last Halloween if they let the terrorizers take over and smash all the pumpkins one more year. And it's kind of this, the big brother's like on the edge of like, do I become one of the terrorizers and go smash all the pumpkins with them? Or do I help my little brother get the record for the city and go to the most houses and get the most candy? And so it's like this back and forth thing. Right. And so this was just a super memorable episode for me because it was just like that quintessential 90s. You always had the bully that was stealing the candy.
Sure.
Always when we were kids. There was always those kids that stole the candy. And then you ended up becoming one of those kids always. At least I did. I remember.
It's funny how much we thought. Like, I don't know if this is ever true for you. It's like, but you thought like this is like what life is going to be. And it's like, it wasn't like that. You know, it's people weren't stealing people's shit.
No.
You know, it's like,
I do remember being the bully and stealing candy with my group of friends from the little kids. I do remember that. But it was less dramatic than this.
Yeah.
It was mostly like, hey, give me your candy. And they're like, okay, fine, we'll go get more. But these guys, like, they've got pumpkins on their heads and like they're the terrorizers, and then they're dressed. So, but this one was just ingrained in my head. Nickelodeon, this was on Nickelodeon. And so just Pete and Pete, there's a couple of funny. Pete and Pete was funny, but I don't know. Those writers were clearly a little bit whacked out in their heads, because they did some weird stuff on Pete and Pete that you were just like, oh wow, that's different. So, okay, number 3 on my list of 90s sitcom Halloween episodes, Family Matters, the Stevel episode. Do you remember Stevel?
I remember seeing the picture. I'm like, oh, okay, I've seen that. I don't remember much to it, but I know I've seen it.
So Stevel, this episode, a dummy doll of Steve Urkel shows up and ends up coming alive.
Okay.
And terrorizes the entire thing. Spoiler alert, it's just a dream in the end. But it was funny episode. This little doll just terrorizes the crap out of Steve, and nobody believes him. Nobody believes it's happening.
Little Urkel doll.
Yeah, little Urkel. And they call it Stevel. And then that episode was so popular and people loved it so much, the next year, a couple years later, they did another episode with Carl, the dad, and Carl's dummy name was Carlsbad. And it was the same thing. And he was like, I should have believed you, Steve. It actually happened. And so really, Family Matters was just funny. I mean, it lots of good episodes. Sure. Which it's funny because it was like, TGIF was kind of white people thing, I think. I don't know if but they had this show with black people in it, and it was just so it was different.
But it definitely wasn't like the weigh-ins or anything like that.
No,
no, it was very safe.
Yeah, it was very safe. Yes, for sure. So, but yeah, so these Halloween episodes are just ingrained in my brain, and Stevel really, more than the Carlsbad episode, I really remember Stevel. So, okay. Only because number 1, it was so epic, is this one number 2 for me. But number 2 on my list of 90s sitcom Halloween episodes is the Home Improvement Night to Dismember episode.
That was a solid one.
Do you remember this one?
I do. I remember it.
Do you tell me what you remember?
Was it the Halloween party and
no, not
that one? Okay,
no,
I'm
not
thinking of the Halloween party where there's like a secret admirer. And,
that was a good one.
The one that
there was so many good Home Improvement Halloween episodes, but this one stuck out in my mind the most. This is the one. They were a little bit older at this point.
Okay,
and Mark is the oldest kid. Randy's the oldest kid. No, I don't remember.
Brad?
No, Brad's the blonde one. Randy was Jonathan Taylor Thomas, and then Mark was the youngest.
Yeah.
So the youngest, he's he's not like the others. Like the other guys like sports and like the same stuff that Tim and his wife like and all that. And so he decides that he's going to make a horror movie, and he tells his parents, like, he wants his family to be in the movie. He wants them to help make the movie with his buddy, and they're both like dressed in goth and black and Jinkos and the whole thing, right? And so they're making this movie, but he makes his parents promise that they won't watch the video. It's a VHS, and they're like downstairs and they see the video and they pop it in and they feel like it's all like real and like he's really trying to kill them. But he's just trying to make the movie. And this one sticks in my head because they end up having this whole, like, just like in every episode of Home Improvement, there's this big like crescendo and they have this big life lesson and then everything's fine and they go on their way. And in this one, that happens and then they go on their way and their heads are in that table with the thing and they lift it and they're just looking up at you. And to me, that is just like the most iconic remembrance of a Halloween episode for Home Improvement. And then the brothers were in a bowl also in that one. So Home Improvement had so many good Halloween episodes. They did a great job. But for me, the most epic, the most memorable Halloween 90s sitcom episode ever was Boy Meets World, and then there was Sean. Do you remember this?
I don't remember this one.
So let's see if this sparks your memory. So this gets started, and they Topanga and Corey have broken up.
Okay.
And they're in class like they always are in Feeney's class. And then we find that they get locked into the classroom. And they're like, what the heck is happening? Like, we're locked in here. We can't get out. And then the creepy janitor shows up, and he's like real creepy. And you think that something weird's going on with him. And then his brother shows up. What the heck is his brother's name? I can't remember his brother's name. And then it's like, okay, what's going on? And then there's this girl that has like the best screams, and I can't remember. She was a pretty solid character on the show for a little bit, but she screams, and they turn, and the picture that's on the screen right there is the kid with the pencil stuck in his head.
Mm-hmm.
And then he just slides down the deal, and then you just see Corey go over there, and you go, "We'll always remember that he was this tall." And to me, like, that was just the iconic like thing. And then the other reason, maybe subconsciously, that this is my favorite is Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Okay.
Gosh dang. Okay. Jennifer Love Hewitt was in this episode. Mm-hmm. So in the end, what happens is everybody in the school, everybody that's in their group gets murdered.
Okay.
And we come to the end, and we're up against the murderer because it's just Sean and Topanga and Sean and Topanga and Corey left.
Mm-hmm.
And he raises his thing, and it's Sean. It's like, what the heck? Okay. And then Sean wakes up in the middle of class, and he's like, holy cow, you guys have to get back together. Like, you can't be apart because it's my fault that you broke up and whatever, right? So, but for me, this was like I think Scream had come out at this point, and so this was like
sense that she was tying it in,
right? Yeah, that, and like this was like the younger version of that, because Scream would have been, and when this came out in '96 or whatever, like that would have been too much for us probably. I don't remember what year it came out, but this was, for me, this is the most epic, memorable Halloween episode. I don't know, they probably did other Halloween episodes on Boy Meets World, because that seems like the kind of show that would do that. If it wasn't for this one episode, Home Improvement would have taken it for me. But this was...
I can't believe The Simpsons Treehouse of Horror like never...
Man, I just didn't watch The Simpsons enough for those to be... They were awesome. I agree.
Many.
Yeah.
Every year, I remember, like, as soon as it was Halloween, I was looking forward to The Simpsons and what they were going to do.
I wasn't allowed to watch The Simpsons.
Yeah. Dude, what's funny is my wife was actually in bed with Roman yesterday, and I came upstairs, like, am I hearing that right? Like, I go into the room and they're watching Simpsons together. I'm like, what is going on right now? And it was just so funny because, like, she's like, I was never allowed to watch it.
No,
you know,
so she's
like, I think this is my first time watching The Simpsons, and they were on like season 1, you know, like the early stuff. So I was like, God, you were getting in at like the base level. It's like, man, well, good for you, I guess, you know?
Yeah. I just wasn't allowed to watch it, but I know that those were epic. The Treehouse of Horror stuff was definitely epic. Just not in my wheelhouse, not something I watched.
And it's cool because it wasn't just like one episode. Like, it was an episode, but there were like mini episodes in the episode. So it's like they do like 3 different episodes in that, you know? So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, those are cool. So that's what would Trav do. Trav's version.